Next order.
Order number 8, motion. Report of the Delegated County Legislation Committee on the Homa Bay County Infrastructure Investment Financing Fund Regulation 2023.
Honorable Nyangi, Chair Delegated Legislation Committee.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. A report of the Committee on Delegated County Legislation on the consideration of the Public Financing Management, Homa Bay County Infrastructure Investment Financing Fund Regulation 2023. Honorable Speaker, I hope members have the document in their tablet, and therefore I will take the shortest time possible to go through the document. Honorable Speaker, we have the table of contents, which I'm not going to go through because that is, members can see that on their forms. We have the abbreviation, Mr. Honorable Speaker. These are just simple abbreviations. I'm not also going to go through them. For example, we have the SO that stands for standing order. Members can go through that. Honorable Speaker, allow me now to take members through the mandate of the committee. The Committee of Delegated County Legislation is established pursuant to Standing Order number 190 and is mandated as follows. Whenever a statutory instrument is submitted to the House pursuant to the Constitution, any law or the standing orders, the statutory instrument shall, unless a contrary intention appears in the relevant legislation, be laid before the House by the chair of the relevant sectorial committee or any other member, and shall thereafter stand referred to the Committee on Delegated County Legislation. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the committee shall consider in respect of any statutory instrument whether it, A, in accord with the provisions of the Constitution, the act pursuant to which it is made, or other relevant written laws. B, infringes on fundamental rights and freedoms of the public. C, contains a matter which, in the opinion of the committee, should more properly be dealt with in an act of the Assembly. D, contains impositions of taxation. E, directly or indirectly bursts the jurisdiction of the courts. F, gives retrospective effect to any of the provisions in respect of which the Constitution or an act of Parliament or Assembly does not expressly give any such powers. G, involves expenditure from the county revenue fund or other public revenues. H, is defective in its drafting or any other reason. The form or purport of the statutory instrument calls for any elucidation. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, moving to Part I, appears to make some unusual or unexpected use of the powers conferred by the Constitution or an act pursuant to which it is made. J, appears to have had unjustifiable delay in its publication or laying before the House. K, makes rights, liberties, or obligations unduly dependent upon non-reviewable decisions. The next point, Honorable Speaker, makes rights, liberties, or obligations unduly dependent upon insufficiently defined administrative powers. M, inappropriately delegates legislative powers. Another point, Honorable Speaker, imposes a fine, imprisonment, or other penalty without express authority having been provided for in the enabling legislation. Another point, honorable members, appears for any reason to infringe on the rule of law And then the inadequately subjects the exercise of legislative powers to assemble scrutiny and accords to any other reason that the committee considers fit to examine. Mr. Speaker, those are the points that may make the committee to assent to or to annul the points. And my part for, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, if the committee, A, resolves that the statutory instrument be assented to, the clerk shall convey that resolution to the relevant county department or the authority that the published statutory instrument, and B, does not assent to the statutory instrument, the committee may recommend to the House to resolve that all or any part of the statutory instrument be annulled. And if a resolution is passed by the House within 20 days, on which it next sits at the instrument laid before it under paragraph 2, that all or part of the statutory instrument be annulled, the instrument or part thereof shall henceforth stand annulled. So, Mr. Speaker, I think the point I've just read is very clear. It was, and I think members can also go through it. I might be very fast, but I hope members.
If you think you are very fast that the members did not pick it, can you just go through it again? It was very clear.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'll try to go a little bit slow so that members can really understand.
Can you try to repeat that?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The other bit that you have read.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah.
Honorable Speaker, the members of the committee, we have 13. I'm not going to read the names. The names are there. Members can refer. Out of the, we have the committee secretariat. Honorable Speaker, out of 13, 8 members adopted the report. We have the committee secretariat. Honorable Speaker, allow me to go through the acknowledgement. The Delegated County Legislation Committee wishes to sincerely thank the officers of the Speaker and the Clerk of the County Assembly for the support accorded to it in the discharge of its mandate. The chairperson takes this opportunity to thank the members of the committee for their input and valuable contributions during the deliberations and preparation of this report. Much appreciation to the staff of the County Assembly attached to the committee during the exercise. The efforts made the work of the committee and preparation of this report possible. It is therefore my duty and privilege on behalf of the Delegated County Legislation Committee and pursuant to Section 15(2) of the Statutory Instrument Act 2013 and Standing Order 194A, it is my pleasure to present the committee report on considerations of the Public Finance Management, Homa Bay County Infrastructure Investment Financing Fund Regulation 2023. Honorable Speaker, allow me to touch something on the background. That's now the scrutiny on the Public Finance Management, Homa Bay County Infrastructure Investment Financing Fund Regulation 2023. The Public Finance Management, Homa Bay County Infrastructure Investment Financing Fund Regulation 2023 was received by the Office of the Speaker on 17th day of October 2023. Section 116 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012 confers powers to the County Executive Committee member for Finance to establish other public funds with the approval of the County Assembly. Subsection 9 provides that regulations may stipulate the establishment, management, operation, or winding up of the county public fund. Honorable Speaker, in keeping with the provisions of Article 2072A of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, Section 109, 116, and 131C of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, the CCM for the Department of Finance and Economic Planning drafted the Public Finance Management Homa Bay County Infrastructure Investment Financing Fund Regulation 2023. The regulations were published in the Gazette number 5 of 2023 on 13th October 2023 in accordance with the provision of Section 11(1) of the Statutory Instrument Act 2013 and was submitted to the Office of the Clerk, County Assembly on 17th October 2023. The same was laid before the House on 18th October 2023. Thus, thereafter were referred to the Committee on Delegated Legislation to review, scrutinize, and report to the House within 28 days, pursuant to Section 15(2) of the Statutory Instrument Act 2023. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, Section 6(16) of the Statutory Instrument Act 2013 instructs for the committee to converse with the regulations making authorities before tabling the report. To this end, Honorable Speaker, the committee held a meeting with the CCM Finance and Economic Planning on 6th November 2023 at the Florence Hotel, Migori, to deliberate on the Public Finance Management, Homa Bay County Infrastructure Investment Financing Fund Regulation 2023. Honorable Speaker, I'm not going to go through the overview of the regulations. Members can do that on their own. Honorable Speaker, allow me go through the legal consideration. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the legal notice on the Public Finance Management, Homa Bay County Infrastructure Investment Financing Fund Regulation 2023 is made pursuant to Section 116 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012. The section empowers the CCM Finance to establish other public funds with the approval of the County Executive Committee and the County Assembly. Honorable Speaker, allow me now to go through the committee observation. Honorable Speaker, having scrutinized the Public Finance Management Homa Bay County Infrastructure Investment Financing Fund Regulation 2023 against the Constitution of Kenya 2010, Section 109, 116, and 130, 1C of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, Standing Order number 193 of the Homa Bay County Assembly Standing Orders, in addition to the Statutory Instrument Act number 23 of 2013, the committee observed the following. A, public participation. Honorable Speaker, public participation is a fundamental process categorically provided for under Article 10(2)(a) and 174(c) and 196(1)(b) of the Constitution of Kenya, as well as Section 87 of the County Government Act 2012. Pursuant to the making of regulations, Section 5(a) of the Statutory Instrument Act 2013 provides that every statutory instrument shall be accompanied by an explanatory memorandum which shall contain a statement on the proof and demonstration that sufficient public consultation was conducted as required under Article 10 and 118 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. B, a brief statement if all the consultations undertaken before the statutory instrument was made. C, a brief statement of the way the consultation was carried. In scrutinizing the regulations and its attachments, the regulation-making authority never touched an attendance list signed by those who took part in the public participation. The committee was therefore convinced that the regulation-making authority did not demonstrate that it conducted sufficient public participation in the development of the regulation. Part B, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, regulatory impact statement. Pursuant to Section 6 and 7 of the Statutory Instrument Act 2013, a statutory instrument with financial implications should be preceded by a regulatory impact statement with which stipulates the impact of the imposed financial implications among other requirements. The regulatory impact statement should provide in clear and precise language. A statement of the objective of the proposed legislation and the reason for them. B, A statement explaining the effect of the proposed legislation, including in the case of a proposed legislation which is to amend an existing statutory instrument, the effect on the operation of the existing statutory instrument. C, a statement of other practicable means of achieving those objectives, including other regulatory as well as non-regulatory options. D, an assessment of the cost and benefits of the proposed statutory rule and of any other practicable means of achieving the same objectives. E, the reason why the other means are not appropriate. F, any other matter specified by the guidelines. And G, a draft copy of the proposed statutory rule. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, it is noteworthy that the regulation-making authority never submitted a regulatory impact statement stating the above details. Hence, it is not in compliance with the provisions of Section 6 of the Act mentioned above. Honorable Speaker, Part C, non-compliance with the Constitution and other laws. The statutory instrument is not in accord with the provisions of the Constitution, the Act pursuant to which it is made, or other relevant written laws. The statutory instrument is not in accord with Article 207(2)(a) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, since it intends to create a charge against the revenue fund, which can only be effected through an act of parliament or by legislation. Honorable Speaker, the regulation further offends Section 116(1) of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, which states, a county executive committee member for finance may establish other funds with the approval of the county executive committee and the county assembly. Based on this provision of the law, the statutory instrument does not accord the assembly any latitude for their approvals, since the county assembly can only interact with the document in the House only in case of an annulment. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, are moving to Part D, contravention of Section 207(2)(a) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. The statutory instrument contains a matter which should more properly be dealt with in an act of parliament. Therefore, the regulation-making authority ought to have considered coming up with an act of the assembly. E, defective in its drafting. The statutory instrument is defective in its drafting, and therefore the form of purport of the statutory instrument call for elucidation. This is evidenced by the fact that the committee could not ascertain the clear objectives of the fund and its intended purpose. The committee further noted mismatch on the name of the fund as captured in Regulation 1 and Regulation 4. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, allow me now to go straight to the committee recommendation. Honorable Speaker, having examined the Public Finance Management Homa Bay County Infrastructure Investment Financing Fund, Regulation 2023, the committee recommends that the regulation be annulled entirely pursuant to the provision of Section 18 of the Statutory Instrument, Act 2013, and Standing Order number 194B of the Homa Bay County Assembly Standing Orders. Consequently, Honorable Speaker, the statutory instrument stands revoked, and the regulation-making authority to publish the revocation within 14 days pursuant to Section 19 of the Statutory Instrument Act 2013. Honorable Speaker, the prayer of the committee. Honorable Speaker, the committee prays that this House adopt this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Nyangi. Who is seconding?
My deputy, Honorable Florence. Is he in the House?
Okay, Honorable Florence Ouma. I'm wondering why, how do you propose a seconder while you're not sure whether she's in the house? Honorable Florence, please proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to thank my very able chair for that very good report. Honorable Speaker, I also want to thank my chair for asking if I'm in the house, because after reading the very long report, some people might have been absent-minded, so they were being brought back to being alert because Honorable Florence was coming up. Honorable Speaker, I want to join my able chair. From the report, even the way it is read, this is a regulation that doesn't really need to see light of the day. Honorable Speaker, as we were going through this regulation, just from what has been read, I, however, want to put more light to some of the parts. This is a house that should be respected, and any document that is stepping into this house is one that needed to have been read through thoroughly, and to ensure that no flimsy mistakes are there. Honorable Speaker, from the reading you find that the mismatch, other than the mismatch on the title, there was mismatch in numbers. If you go through the report, you'll find that maybe the numbering is not sequential, because my pre-primary teacher taught me that numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in that order. And if you look at this report, you will find that there are some numerals that are skipped, which should not be in a regulation. Honorable Speaker, the naming, especially in Regulation 1 and Regulation 4, indicates two different documents, which shouldn't be there. Honorable Speaker, there